Today we're going to be demonstrating the melting points of butter and margarine. Over here we have a stick of butter, and over here we have a stick of margarine. Ronisha, I'm going to have you observe the butter. So I'm going to give you a craft stick of butter. And while I'm giving her the craft stick of butter, what does it mean to observe? If you're making observations, what does that mean that you are doing? What does it mean to observe? Kenneth? Using your five senses to collect data. So what's one of our five senses?
Smell.
Smell. Ronisha, can you share the observation of smell on the butter?
Smell.
Say it loud so people can hear you.
It smells like butter.
Can you describe what butter smells like if I've never encountered butter before?
Not really.
Not really? Does it have much of a smell to it?
No, unless you get close.
Okay. Amber, you want to give us smell on butter?
It don't really have a smell.
Does it have much of a smell? Let's see what Lanaya has to say about the smell of butter.
I don't smell nothing.
Okay, it doesn't really have much of a smell, but for those who have smelled butter, it smells buttery. Okay? So what? So we got smell. What's another one?
Taste.
Taste.
Butter.
This has only been touched by me. Any of you want to just do a little taste? Just take a little down your finger. Just take your finger and go. Yep. Because it hasn't been touched.
How can you butter along like that?
What does it taste like? It just tastes butter. So since you taste the butter, you're going to do the same thing for the other one too, okay? Just so you know, so you can compare. All right. What's another one? We have taste. We have smell, touch.
Smell is like greasy and mushy.
Okay. So nobody else going to be tasting on this one.
It's kind of greasy like Vaseline.
Okay. Say it loud so people can hear you.
It's like it feels like Vaseline.
Yeah, it's like real rubbery. I mean, like rubbery. You understand what I'm saying?
Nope.
Like, like it's smooth.
Okay, smooth. Okay, so we have three. We have two more.
Sight, how it looks.
Sight, what does it look like?
White butter.
It's white.
Yellow butter.
Yellow.
I would say the same thing.
Yellow.
Yeah, same thing.
Yellow. People at home, do you agree? And what's the last one?
Hearing.
Hearing. Can you hear butter? What does butter sound like?
Nothing.
What does butter sound like? What does butter sound like?
Nothing.
Parquet. Parquet. No, you're butter.
I said the ocean.
Okay, so now we have margarine. So, oopsie. We started off with smell.
Smell like the same as butter.
Okay.
Yeah, it smells like butter.
It smells creamy.
Okay.
It smells stronger.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, margarine smells strong because I haven't used margarine in years. So when I was opening up, I was like, whew. I was like, it's strong. All right. So we have smell, taste. You're my taste person, so you can compare the taste.
It doesn't taste like butter,
Okay.
but
She said.
I don't know. It's like it's not as strong as butter. It tastes like is it like
So lighter than butter?
yeah.
Which one do you think tastes better? Butter, okay. So we have what we did, 3 or 2? 2. So we have 3 more to go. What do we need to do next? Touch.
Still same as butter.
Yeah, it's for the same.
Feels the same? Now, in my experience with the touch, with the butter was harder to me than the margarine. it was harder to me because when I was scooping them out. What do we have left?
Look.
Hearing. What is it? What does it sound like?
Nothing.
What does it sound? And which one do we have left? Here. We did the hearing.
Yeah, look.
Sight. What does it look like?
It's darker than the
It's darker than the
butter.
butter.
Yeah, it's darker than the butter.
You agree? All right. So, we have observed both of them. We have butter in this container, and we have the margarine in this container. Well, test tube. I have 2 beakers with water that are being heated. We have taken the starting temperature of both, which you have on your data table. So our starting temperature of butter was 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and margarine was 71 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I'm going to take my butter and I'm going to lower it down in to the heated water. And Ronisha, what do you see happening with the temperature on our temperature probe right now?
It's changing.
It's changing. What does it say now?
79, 79, 80.
Now it's up to 80.
82 is still changing.
Okay.
It's heating up.
It's heating up. Is it melting, Ronisha?
Yes.
Now we have our margarine needs to be brought down a little bit more. So now we have our margarine in. What do we see with the margarine? Amber?
The temperature is rising.
What else is going on with the temperature? Me?
It's still rising. Still changing. Margarine melting a little bit. The margarine is at 100 degrees.
The margarine's at 100 degrees. What do we see going on in the margarine test tube?
Yeah, the butter
It's melting.
Yeah.
Okay. And we will come back to check the temperature of when the entire test tube has become a complete liquid. So we're back after a few minutes. Ronisha, what is our temperature on our butter?
126 degrees
Degrees what?
Fahrenheit.
Okay, 126 degrees Fahrenheit. And what do you all notice that's going on with the butter?
They are melting.
It's melting.
It's melting. Is it all the way melted or is it almost halfway? What's our
It's
For the butter,
It's halfway
halfway.
liquid, and it's like halfway melted, and then some of it's still solid.
okay. And so if it's almost halfway, what part of our temperature time scale do you think is being represented in that? We talked about the temperature time scale last week.
A solid liquid.
The solid liquid, and what did that piece look like? Remember what the line looked like?
It was like
It was flat, so it went up to a point,
And then
then it flattened out. And so what does that mean when it's during that plateau section? What does that mean is happening?
It's changing.
What's changing?
the temperature. The temperature.
It's melting. And so how long will it be flat? It'll be flat until when?
Until it turned into fully liquid.
Until it turns into a full liquid. So is this a flat section? If we were doing our time graph, would it be flat?
Yeah.
And Ronisha, did our temperature change?
Yes.
What was it before when you first got back up here?
125 degrees.
It was 125?
It's not up there. It was 126.
It was 126. So now we've been up here for a couple minutes and it's only 128. So it's still moving a little bit, but it's still almost flat still. So now let's look at our margarine. What's our temperature on our margarine right now?
The temperature for the margarine is 133 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right. And what does it look like in our margarine?
It's also at the solid liquid point.
Is there more solid or more liquid in this one?
More solid.
More solid than liquid. So which one do you think has the higher melting temperature?
The butter.
Has the higher melting temperature? Mean that it takes a higher temperature for it to melt, or do you think the butter takes a lower temperature for it to melt?
It takes the lower.
It takes a lower temperature for that butter to melt. So therefore, we need a higher temperature for that margarine to melt. And we see right now we've had it on for about the exact same amount of time. And if we look, we went up 1 more degree on our butter. And it's almost all liquid. I'll say about 75% liquid. And our margarine is what, maybe 25% liquid? You agree with that? About 25% liquid? And we have 134 degrees on that. And we'll come back shortly. So here we have our butter is completely melted and our temperature is 133 degrees Fahrenheit. Our margarine still has not really melted too much since then, but we are at 139 degrees Fahrenheit. So which one would you rather put in your body?